Today is Tuesday, April 28th. This is a read aloud for Out of My Mind. I left off in another cliffhanger recently, and we're about to find out what the results were with the tryouts. First of all, I'm very proud of all of you who took the test. It was quite challenging, and you all did extremely well. Rose raises her hand. Yes, Rose? Can we see the questions and answers later so we know where we messed up? Absolutely. As a matter of fact, we'll use this test as a learning tool to study for the real competition. But anyone is free to see the test and check their responses. Please read the names already, Connor says, as politely as I've ever heard him. Mr. Dimming smiles. Okay, will do. I shall read the alternates first. 2 fifth graders, 2 from 6th grade. Amanda Firestone, Molly North, Alina Rodriguez, Rodney Mosel. My heart falls to my shoes, which is not quite to the floor, but close. How could I have missed so many questions? Maybe my thumb slipped and I pushed the wrong letters. Catherine squeezes my hand. Molly and Rodney screech with joy. Amanda and Elena are 6th graders. Connor is noticeably quiet. And now, Mr. Dimming continues, the names of the 4 students who scored the highest and will represent our school at the local competition downtown. The alternates will accompany them and will be called upon if any of the team members are unable to participate in any way. Are we ready? Ready, Connor says softly. I notice he has his fingers crossed behind his back. I'm proud to report that all 4 are from our classroom. He pauses. To know all the finalists are from 5th grade blows me away. Way to go. We torched grade 6? Awesome, Rodney says. Now read the names before Connor wets his pants. Connor reaches over and smacks Rodney on the back of his head. Mr. Dimming takes a deep breath. The top 4 scorers and members of our quiz team will be Connor Bates. Connor interrupts him with a wild whooping cheer, of course. And if I may continue, Mr. D says over his glasses, we are also pleased to welcome Claire Wilson and Rose Spencer. Claire's smile is smug. But that's only 3, Connor says, looking around in confusion. I can count, Connor, Mr. Dimming replies dryly. So who's the last person on the team? Molly asks. Earthquake report. TV weather guy feels some strange activity coming from a local school. Could it be a girl's heartbeat pounding too hard? Mr. Dimming clears his throat. I must apologize. I think we have all underestimated a member of our class. Earthquake report. This is the big one. He continues. In my 15 years of running this competition, I have never had a student make a perfect score on the practice test. It is designed to be challenging, to weed out the weaker candidates. In a word, it's hard. Tell me about it, Connor mumbles. When Melody Brooks took that little practice quiz with us last week, I thought it was a lucky accident that she did so well. But yesterday, Melody blew us all away. She got every single question right. He pauses, making sure everyone is taking this in, and then he says, all of them. Earthquake report. Walls are tumbling everywhere. So she's on the team? Rose asks, disbelief in her voice. Yes, she's on the team. But we'll look weird, Claire counters. Everybody will stare at us. I'm not going to have any of that kind of talk. Do you understand? Mr. D says sternly. I'm very proud of Melody. I regret I underestimated her, and I'm glad to have her on our team. Earthquake report. Call the paramedics. A girl in 5th grade is about to explode. Everybody in the class turns to look at me. Catherine gives me a hug. Rose flashes me a smile. And I try not to kick and drip and make my teammates sorry that I'll be on the team with them. Will the Whiz Kids folks be cool with Melody? Molly asks. Mr. Dimming looks thoughtful. I'll contact the quiz team officials and let them know about our special circumstances, he says, but that's no concern of yours. Now listen up. Team members will meet every day after school for 2 hours for the next 2 weeks, right up until the first competition. Practice sessions are mandatory. Here's paperwork for your parents to read and sign. I need it back tomorrow. Earthquake report. Expect big aftershocks. Nothing like this has ever been seen before. The more I think about it, the more excited I get. Television, pressure, people looking at me. I can feel myself getting tense and tight. My arms and legs start doing the tornado spastic dance. My head jerks. I try not to, but I screech. Just a little. Everybody turns at the sound. I can see Molly and Claire jerking their hands, kicking their legs, and making crazy noises. A few people giggle. Mr. Dimming's face grows tight. I aim all my energy at my thumb and point to go. Catherine gets the message and hurries me out of there. I want to find a hole and hide in it. Chapter 22. The next 2 weeks pass in a whirlwind. In spite of my little display of weirdness that Tuesday in class, I showed up at practice on Wednesday afternoon as if nothing had happened. Maybe nothing had. I was just being me. I'm not sure what the others thought. They said nothing about it. So, like all the other team members, alternates and regulars alike, I stayed every day after school to practice from 3:30 to almost 6 o'clock. I still couldn't get over the fact I was part of the team. Okay, truth. There was the team, and then there was me, and we were in the same room. But we weren't quite a team. They appreciated the fact that I usually got the answers right. But when Mr. Dimming gave us multiple choice questions to answer, I had to think for only a moment, then hit the correct letters on my machine. But lots of preparation involved fast and furious back and forth discussions, and I had trouble adding anything to what was being said most of the time. One of the longest one-syllable words in the English language is screeched, Connor announced one afternoon as he chomped on a raspberry Twizzler. That's a good word for melody, Claire said as she snatched his candy and took a bite. I couldn't respond, and nobody else bothered to. What do you call that dot that goes over the letter I? Elena asked the group. I knew the answer, but it took me too long to spell it out. It's called a tittle, Amanda answered quickly, like the brain of a fifth grader. Ooh, snap, said Rodney. I had planned to type snap when she said that too, but I was too slow. The group had already zoomed on to another question. Gee, they talk fast. Who was the first child born in the American colonies? Rose asked, reading from a huge stack of 3x5 cards in her hand. Virginia Dare, Elena answered. Okay, my turn. She flipped through her own cards, color-coded. Who was the first Miss America? Well, that's dumb, Connor said. They're not going to ask girl stuff like that. You don't know the answer? Claire asked him. Of course I know, Connor replied with a snort. Margaret Gorman in 1921. She was 16 and probably looked better than you. He and Rodney were the only ones to laugh. Rodney jumped in then. I've got a nasty question. What is pediculosis? Without missing a beat, Rose answered, when you've got a scalp full of head lice. Ugh, do you know that from personal experience? Of course not. I was just looking for a hard word, Rodney told her. He and Connor didn't laugh that time. You want a hard word? I've got one, Amanda told the group. What is hexadactylism? That seemed to stump all of them for a minute, so I had time to tap on the number 6, followed by the word fingers. Then I pushed play so they could all hear my answer. Good job, Melody, Elena said. How does she know all this stuff? Claire whispered to Rose. She's smart, Rose said, flipping through more cards. But she'll look odd on TV, don't you think? Claire continued as if I couldn't hear her. I was ready for her. I had typed a couple of things the night before, so all I had to do was push a button. TV makes lots of people look funny, I had the machine say. Maybe even you, Claire. Oh, look who's got snaps now, Connor hooted. Good one, Melody. If I could have danced, I would have. But as quickly as that moment happened, it disappeared. The team zipped on at rocket-pace speed, feeding off one another's knowledge and skill. At the rate they were going, there was no way I could jump in quick enough. I listened, however, and remembered it all.